to start with just what made you want to get the comprehensive testing from the master class?
A lot of uh, physical and mental just breakdown that I've been having. I've been feeling really, really tired lately. I 2 years ago in 2022, we had a death in the family, and I before that I hadn't noticed it. My sugar has been fluctuating a lot, and I hadn't noticed it. That literally my I was just walking like in a cloud, not able
Mhm.
to really even concentrate on anything. And then I started
Mhm.
getting the body pains, not being able to get up in the mornings. And then in 2022, my nephew passed away. And that just was like a break that made everything else just explode. And so I kept on telling my husband kept on telling me, you're depressed, get out of it. And I'm like, months went by and I was like, no, it's not depression. It's just literally, I have so much I want to do in my head, but my
Mhm.
body, I don't have the energy. I
Yeah.
can't get up and do anything. I just feel tired constantly. So
Mhm.
literally, I was sitting on the sofa, and when my husband goes to work at 4 in the morning. So I would go to sleep. I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't rest right. I was tossing and turning all night long. It
Yeah.
was me going to bed at 1 in the morning. And then when he would go to work, I would get up and help him make his breakfast and his lunch and stuff. Try to go back to sleep. Couldn't sleep. And when I finally did fall asleep, it was like I would sleep till 10 o'clock in the morning and then just still wake up tired. And
Right.
so it's
Never feeling
just a lot of
rested.
things that were just so I knew something was wrong. And then, when I get up in the morning, sometimes I would change, sometimes I would just stay in my pajamas, come and sit down. And when I looked, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was already coming back home. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't do nothing. Yet in my head, I need to do this and I need to do that, and I have to do this, but I never got around to doing it. And then so uh I told my husband, there's something wrong. And then I ended up I said, well, I have to go do my OBGYN testing because it's been a while
Mhm.
that I haven't. So I did. I said, well, let me see what she decides. I didn't want to go to a primary doctor because I knew right
Mhm.
off the bat they were going to tell me, oh, you're diabetic. I know that. My
Mhm.
father has diabetes. All my uncles on my dad's side all passed away from diabetes. So I knew that that was the first thing they're going to tell me. And they're going to go, here, drink this. I am not down for that. I was like, no. So I went to my OBGYN and she did all the testing. She did, pap smear and the pep and the mammogram and everything. And I told her, hey, I haven't been to a primary doctor in a while. Can you do these exams for me? Can you do? She said, oh yeah, I'll be more than happy to order them. And so she did. She turned around and she ordered, my A1C, my glucose, my cholesterol, and she came back and she says, everything is perfect except for you're diabetic. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what? She goes, yeah. She says, you are at 179, I think it was, and my A1C was at 9. And so she was like, you need to go see a primary doctor. And then I said, I told my husband, I don't want to go see a primary doctor. I just don't want to go. I don't want to get put on any of those pills. My
Right.
sister's on them, both of my
The
sisters.
diabetic cocktail. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, she's diabetic, high blood pressure. She has everything. And she's taking three metformins, 500 milligrams each, every morning. And she says that's the way she's able to move and stuff like that. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. If you have this other stuff, something else is going on with your body. I
Yeah.
kept on telling. So, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of components that actually came together for me to say, there's something else going on here. I know
Mhm.
there's something else going on here because I've always tried to take care of myself. We are not heavy eaters of, greasy foods or sugar or anything like that. We've never been like that. We've been pretty healthy,
Mhm.
my husband and I, especially my husband. He's really, really healthy. And then
Mhm.
so it's like I know there's something else going on. It can't be what I'm eating only because I know, but and then so I went to go see a primary doctor. And I walk in and I did something, okay, go ahead, and I sit there and I'm waiting for him. If I was there for 15 minutes, it was more than what I would actually it was.
Uh-huh.
Because he walks in and he tells me, how can I help you? What are you here for today? I said, oh, well, my OBGYN says that I have my A1C's high, and then he didn't even bother to check to see how I was doing overall.
Mhm.
He turns around and he tells me, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and prescribe you metformin.
Uh,
And then I
just
turned around and I don't want metformin. So I told him, you know what? I wanted to test him out to see what he was gonna do. I said, I don't want metformin. I said, give me Jardigan. And he says, well, the insurance is not going to cover you. That was his response. That right away told me he was, who was he working for? Me? No,
right.
he was working for his pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
He's going
Yeah.
to push metformin on me. And
Yeah.
I told them, no, I said, don't worry about the insurance. I'll take care of it. Just give me Jordan's. And he did.
Mhm.
He prescribed me Jordan's. And I walked out there. And I went and I picked up my prescription, drank it maybe 2 days, until my husband says, get off that shit. That stuff is making you crazy. I was, I was like on a rampage, always upset, always mad. And
Mhm.
he's like, what are you thinking of things? Get off of them. And that's where he noticed. He's like, okay, we need to find something else. And
Yeah.
then so at the same time, I have this really good chiropractor. And I had gone to him because I have pain in
Yeah.
my neck, and I've been having a lot of pain in my neck and my back. So he sits down with us and he starts explaining to me, this is what's going on. This is what goes on in your body. This is how your body is actually made. All your nerves run through your skeletal bones. All your nerves run through your back and everything. And all those nerves that you have right now, because your body's compacting in different funny ways, are being pinched. And then uh, you have organs that really are not getting all its how would I say, all its signs, so it's letting
Mhm.
your brain know exactly what's going on with the organs because the nerves are being pinched through your skeleton, your back, because I have a lot, I'm whacked out of my neck and my back and stuff. And and he was telling me, and he started talking about how it's so unfortunate, that doctors and chiropractors are not working hand in hand, and that there still needs to be a lot more testing done. And he's the one who started telling us more about the testing that needs to be done and
Mhm.
how it has to start deeper into it. And then that's when I started, my wheels just started going like crazy. And I'm like, this makes no sense. This it makes no sense how the health industry is really running like
Yeah.
a show in itself over here. Why do we have the chiropractor, which is actually our insights, which is really needs to be working with us? What do they
Mhm.
know that the health company doesn't want us to know,
Right.
right? And then
True.
so, and then my husband started looking into it as well, and he found a gentleman actually in Mexico that also says diabetes is curable. It's not a
Mhm.
disease. It's wrong. And then so he started getting his family in contact with that doctor over there in Mexico, and he kept on telling me you need to also call him. And at the same time, I found Dr. Guevara, and I was like, okay, this is the same thing, and this is better. I trust this one a little bit more. She's over here on this land that I can deal with. And so I started watching her, and I just started watching over and over again her master classes and stuff. And I pulled my husband and I said, this is what's going on. She makes so much sense because I do not believe that I'm diabetic. I know I don't.
Mhm.
I know my dad passed away from me, and my uncles did too, because they didn't know any better. Yet
Mhm.
I go back and I think my grandpa, his father, passed away from cancer. So
Mhm.
I know my grandpa didn't pass away from diabetes. So it's not diabetes, it's something
Mhm.
else. My grandpa had cancer, it's something else. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, and then so my husband says, well, let's find out. And that's when we do the testing and stuff. So here I am.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell
Wow.
you, I was looking at a picture of when I was in 2012. Let me pull up my picture of what I look like. And I was like, holy cow, I lost 100. And I'm going to tell you, I do not weigh myself. That's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't like to weigh myself because I don't want to,
Well, I go
I
by
don't,
how my clothes feel and how I feel,
and how I
and
feel.
how, yeah,
That's exactly it. And
seems
then
like a
so
more accurate
more,
measurement.
way more accurate. What did I do? Let me see. I'm gonna have to pull it because it states that it's all the way in 2012. And yeah, so that's how we got here. I'm really
Mhm.
surprised, and it makes so much sense after speaking with the doctor. We were like, because my husband was with me, and I'm like, it makes so much sense because my mother is 79. She's gonna be 79 this year.
Mhm.
My mother is 5 foot. If she weighs 105 pounds,
Mhm.
I'm lying. I don't know. I mean, she probably weighs less, I'm pretty sure now. She is a little thing, but she has so much energy, so much energy.
Mhm.
And after my nephew died in 2022, when he passed away, it was like a break that hit everybody. It just made
Mhm.
everything. And then I was talking to my chiropractor actually not too long ago, and he says, you know that 'cause he was telling me, I was telling him about Hashimoto's, and he was telling me, he says, people get it at different stages of their life. Not everybody gets it at the same time. I said, remember that the doctor was talking about that. And then I told him, yeah, that's what the doctor was saying. And I said, but what the, I don't remember what the triggers were. I don't remember she said triggers. He says, a major impact, a life-changing impact. And then I
Mhm.
thought about my nephew, how
Yeah.
much it actually affected my mom, especially. Because my
Yeah.
mom lately has been complaining. I have a lot of pain. After that happened, when she went back home, she got sick. She was sick for like about 3 weeks.
Mm.
And, she had depression. And ever since then, she hasn't been able to shake it off. And
Mhm.
so as soon as I found out about this at the beginning of the year in March, I turned around and I asked her, I said, hey, Mom, have you ever been tested for anything like Hashimoto's or anything? She goes, no. I said, well, I was just diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and she stayed quiet. My mom was a nurse,
Mhm.
so she knew what I was talking about. So
Mhm.
she stayed quiet, and I said, and I think we all have it. I think it comes from your mom, and we have it through you. And
Mhm.
she's like, that makes a lot of sense. That was all
Mhm.
she told me. She says, that makes a lot of sense. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
and I am not,
So, go ahead.
I said, I'm not a person to labels because I hate labels. I
Yeah.
really do. I hate labels. I mean, my oldest son, my son, not the oldest of all three, but my son, when he was younger, I knew he had a little bit of ADHD. He was always, but he is a boy. And to me, ADHD is actually us labeling boys that could be outside running and trying to burn that energy, but they have energy stuck up in them. So my husband used to say, take it to the doctors again. I go, what for? All they're going to do is turn around to give you pills. That's why they label you, because it's easy for
Right.
them to be able
Labels
to
and
sell you.
then drug model, and then
Yeah,
it's all cookie cutter, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
exactly where
you
I'm
kind of
from.
went through some of the symptoms you were experiencing, just tons of fatigue. So let's kind of go into what symptoms are gone. What wins have you had in the program so far? And maybe, if some of your numbers have changed, like your A1C, if you can just go over that with us.
Okay, so what are some of the symptoms I've gone? I can say mostly everything. I am so much, I can see clear. It's like, honestly, you know that song, I can see clearly now? I can see water.
Yes, you're not
Because that's
floating through life
exactly the way I
anymore.
feel. I wake
Oh,
up in the mornings and when I open my eyes, I can actually think and see and do.
what a
I work
win.
in administrative work. I do a lot of paperwork. I do a lot of legal work. I'm a legal secretary,
Yeah.
a retired legal secretary, a lot retired administrative assistant. So I've always done that, and I still do paperwork for my family and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I actually got on the program, it was hard for me to concentrate. I would start doing something, get up and say, I can't do this now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, sit myself down and just go into long on that. Now I can literally sit here, look at the stack of paperwork that I have to go through. And because I actually have a fresh mind that I say,
Yeah.
okay, I need to go through this stuff. I need to organize all of my stuff again. And I can actually do it. That's one. My pains, no joint pains. I used to have joint pains waking up in the mornings and just to do things, I get very tired. It's funny because last week I told you I am down. I pull my back. And what did I tell
Mm-hmm.
you? I said, why it's all you guys' fault. Why? Because I have energy now. I have
Yeah.
energy and I want to move and I want to do things. We just refresh. the floors. And so I was trying to put my stuff back in. And my husband said, I'll do it when I get home. I'm like, you get home at 7 o'clock in time. You don't have time. So I can
Mhm.
do it. So here I am trying to pull things in here. And I don't know what I did. I pulled my back. So
You
here I
have
go
to be
back to the
back out.
chiropractor. And he's like, Maritza, you gotta slow down. I'm like, I have my energy. Make up your mind. You guys want me to
Yeah,
move or not? And so he
right.
starts laughing. He says, yeah, but you need to take care of your body. So I have the energy. The energy is there. I love it. It's my doggy does it too because I have a puppy and she loves to go
Yeah.
walking and stuff and playing outside. So
Uh,
I get to do
it's
that.
so amazing.
So yeah, I have that. My A1C went down the last time. There was a little glitch and I didn't get my paper. I haven't gotten my results back. I just did
Oh,
my thing last week. But the last time we actually did it was 2 months ago. It went down from 9 to I think it was a 7.1. So it's gone down quite a bit. Yeah.
yes. Huge
And
win.
my blood, well, I know the last time I did my glucose, I ran out of strips. But the last time I did it, when I woke up in the morning, it was at 104. I was waking up at 178, 189
Oh
before. It
my
was crazy. My sister
gosh.
was like, I don't understand why you haven't done this before. And I'm like, I mean, and it's funny because right now actually my husband's brother came to visit us and he's diabetic as well. He also has high blood pressure and stuff like that. And I was telling him, I said, the unfortunate part is that it's what we're eating. They're killing us by what we're eating. But at the
Mhm.
same time, you need to detox your body. So you need to literally go to a cleanse. And I was kind of talking to him about the program and
Mhm.
stuff. But it's hard for a lot of people to understand. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things I told my husband at the beginning was, why am I going to pay for this? I don't need to. There's a lot of programs out there that actually you can do it on you without paying.
Mhm.
But you know what to me made me want to do this? I have accountability. I have to answer to somebody.
Yeah,
If
your
I
coach.
answer to somebody, I'm gonna stick with it. If I'm
Yeah.
putting money into this, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna make it work. Why?
Yeah.
Because I know it's gonna, it's a mindset. It
Mhm.
takes me out of where I was before, and it puts me in a different mindset. And so
Absolutely.
once I'm here, now I can say, I don't need to be, once I get over the program, I'm gonna do this now because I feel good,
Yeah.
right? Same thing anymore.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
And my
love
husband tried
that.
to tell me, no, 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 let's do it this route because he likes to do a lot of Chinese. His thing is Chinese medicine, which is
Uh-huh.
perfectly fine. I'm gonna tell you, it's cured him a lot for a lot of different things. And that's
Mhm.
perfectly fine. I told him, I agree with you, but first let me do this. I need to do this because I need to find out first of all what's going on, and then from there. And if I need to pay somebody I can tell them, hey, this is what I did. That's what I'm gonna do. And I
Mhm.
know he's like, well, let's do it. And one of the reasons why he agrees with me so much is because he knows if I'm down, being the mom of the family, the head of the household here,
Yeah.
the whole everybody goes down. And
Yeah.
so that's just because of, Mexico and the Latin culture. Mom is the center of the
Yeah,
family.
you have to be your best to be able to take care of your family. And
Everybody
yeah,
else around you.
it's vital. So yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so proud of you. I know Omar is so very proud of you.
He's a
And
really nice
you've put
guy.
in the work. It takes consistency and it takes keeping your why at the forefront, and you're doing it. I can't wait for your newest lab results and see
Yeah.
what those are. My other question for you, just to kind of close it out, would be, would you recommend our program to others?
Oh, I do. I do. I do. I did it to my sister. I told my sister, I said, do you pay health insurance? And she says, yes. I said, why not just instead of paying health insurance and getting you off of that, why don't you just pay this instead? I mean,
Yeah,
because this is something that's proven to work and it's natural. It's
yeah,
not metformin. It's not all that crap that they're trying to put into you,
yeah.
and because she wanted to get the Ozempic, the shot. I told
Mm-hmm.
her, please don't do that. I
Yeah,
told her, don't, Arlene, don't. There's still a lot of studies going on, and there's
right.
still a lot of studies I've been hearing. The last study I heard about that was that once you start getting into that mode, it literally turns a person around and they start becoming bulimic.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
they can't stop it. So it goes from one extreme to the other, and then they
Mhm.
can't stop it. So then she says, I'm gonna look into it. And that was her last response. But I haven't seen her. She lives in Los Angeles. I live in Texas.
Mhm.
We have a family reunion next month with all my
Oh,
parents.
oh,
And then,
awesome.
yeah.
I'm
And
sure
so,
everyone will be wondering and saying you
yes,
look
they will be.
so vibrant. So,
And then I have my oldest brother, which is 63 years old, actually is on the verge of Parkinson's because of diabetes. And he's the
mm-hmm.
hardest person to make believe, I mean, to make him see that
Mm-hmm.
he's doing it, wrong. The
Right.
I don't want to tell him until I see him in person, because that's when he's
Yeah.
going to turn around and he's going to say, okay, what did you do?
Yeah.
You little bit, what did you do and all that stuff.
Well, that's
And so,
awesome.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's exciting. I'm sure that you're excited to share that all with them. Well, I hope you
Oh, super,
enjoy
super
that.
excited. Yeah.
And again, so proud of you. You are an amazing example of, what happens when you put yourself first. So we are so proud of you. I just want you to know this is why we do what we do, is to, be able to see this sort of healing. So thank you so much for your time, and I just can't wait for the rest of your journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm about to finish. And once I finish, well, it's not a finish because it's the lifetime change.
Right.
The good thing about this is I'm doing it, but the way I cook and everything, my husband is benefiting as well.
Yeah.
He didn't believe any of this until I stopped making rice, until I stopped making oatmeal,
Yeah.
he started noticing that when he ate that stuff, he's like, okay, I feel it. He's like, I
Right.
feel it. My stomach is feeling it. And this was me before. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh my
This was me in
gosh.
2022.
Oh my gosh. You look amazing.
Yeah. And
Oh
then so
wow.
this was me in 2022. This was me now. The only downfall is you're gonna see the more wrinkles now that you lose the weight.
But your skin looks beautiful and healthy, and you can tell that you are just vibrant.
Yeah,
So
I was
wow,
looking
what
at
a
that. I
what
was
a
like,
huge
holy cow, it was
transformation.
fat.
Isn't it crazy
Yeah.
to look back on and be like, wow, you don't realize it, how different, it can be in 2 years. So wow. Well, again, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Brooklyn. You take
Thank
care. Don't
you.
worry.